All right, everybody, Monday, December 30th. Yeah, tomorrow, New Year's Eve. Today I put out my final edition of MMT Trader, the last edition, I should say, of 2019, not the final edition. And you still have time to lock in the rate of $250 a month. Remember, that goes up to $395 a month. It's still a bargain. It's still a bargain at $395. But you can lock in the rate of $250 a month if you sign up before January 1st. Folks, this should be your New Year's resolution. Educate yourself, get more informed, work on your mental game, develop resilience, develop mental toughness. I mean, if you want to make it as a trader, if you want to become a successful investor, it's all about the mental game. It's all about having the proper, I would say it's really all about the mental game, but having the proper understanding, being informed, having the knowledge, knowing the impact of policy. Everything trickles down from policy. And the great thing is, the great news is that most people have it wrong. I mean, the vast majority of investors, you know, I call them the 100%, but it's like 99.99. I mean, they just have it wrong. They don't understand. They're out of paradigm when it comes to understanding the monetary system, and you can take advantage of that. That's what I teach. That's what I help people with. You can take advantage of that. But you have to get informed. Make 2020 the year that you scale up personally. If you're in business, you know what it means to scale up. All right? It means taking maybe a one-man or a two-man enterprise, building it into a company, an organization. You know, use that as the metaphor, as a model for your own person. Scale yourself up. How do you do that? By educating yourself, by having a broader knowledge base, by having exposure or knowing where to get the proper information, by having self-control, that's the mental game, and changing the way you think about trading, and particularly during times when things are going to be challenging or tough, because there are always going to be those times. I've said, you know, many times in these videos that you learn nothing from trades that go well, particularly if they go well right off the bat. The greatest education or the greatest personal development comes from the tough times, the difficult times when you slug it. And that's, let's face it, that's most of the time. If you're under some illusion that, hey, I got this perfect system, and I don't need to have the right knowledge, and I don't need to have the right information because the system's going to take me there and it's going to get me in pinpoint buys and sells, and my stop losses are going to be these small little minor stop losses, and of course the next trade's going to be a big profit. No. Anyway, I've said enough about this. Go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial. Now, lock in the rate at $250 a month. Big news, folks. By the way, you may recall, if you've been watching my videos, that about a week or so ago, I said, hey, the sentiment has shifted. For this entire year, everybody was bearish and frightened and worried. You know, they were worried about, started off the year with the inverted yield curve, and then ongoing through the whole year was this trade war and the headline trading. Everyone tried to trade the headlines. One day the trade war is going to be resolved. The next day it was back on. The next day it was going to be resolved. You know, I had a guy who said, Mike, what do I need you for? I just trade the headlines. Well, good luck with that, okay? He's no longer with me, obviously, and he's probably lost all of his money by now. You have to have a vision. You have to know where things are going, and you have to know really, truly what drives everything. You know, I've been bullish the whole entire year. We've been buying every single dip when everybody was panicking. And that goes back even to last year at this time when there was a big market sell-off. And you can go back and watch my videos from that time. But anyway, about a week ago I said, hey look, I'm raising cash up here. I have a short position on in the market. This was largely based on sentiment, but it was also based on, we've had this major monetary action by the Fed. And those reserve additions, and I've explained those. There was nothing to get hysterical about. And by the way, the repos, you don't hear too much about that anymore. And I explained the reason for that. I'm not going to go into it again. But there is a consequence to, massive cash additions into the banking system, reserve additions into the banking system. Reserves are bank assets. When you have hundreds of billions dumped in by the central bank, it causes commercial banks to have to adjust their asset mix, and sometimes that causes them to have to sell. Now, we had a very strong correlation for most of this year where my reserve flows were predicting with pinpoint accuracy these inter-month cycles of market rally, market sell-off. I mean, we were hitting it to the day. And that correlation became disconnected, I would say, since mid-September when the Fed started to engage in these extraordinary monetary operations. But hey, it looks like now they're starting to hit. I mean, in the most recent banking data, and all this stuff is in my latest report, which is another reason why you should sign up today and get the 30-day free trial. Check out these numbers, but I'll just go over a list of some of these numbers because they were, in a word, shocking. In the latest banking data from the Fed's H.8 weekly report, big contractions in bank credit. Bank credit had the biggest drop in 10 years. Treasury and agency securities, which the banks hold, they saw the largest amount of selling, or the banks conducted the largest amount of selling of Treasury and agency securities in 14.5 years. Mortgage-backed securities, which the banks also own as assets, biggest decline ever, biggest decline on record. All right, over 41 billion in a single week. Loans and leases. Now this is critical to the economy because bank credit is by far larger than government money being spent into the economy. All right, bank credit saw loans and leases. Saw the biggest drop in 7.5 years, and the growth rate of loans and leases slowed to the slowest pace in 8 months. Now there's more. I mean, real estate loans, residential real estate loans, had the biggest drop in 19 months. And here's the one, frankly, which really concerns me. Auto loans, which have been increasing every single week for the last 53 weeks. All right? Every single week for the last 53 weeks saw the first decline, and it was a large decline. It was almost $1 billion in a single week. And I was kind of using recently, not recently, for this whole past year, I've been really following automobile loans as a kind of a, the canary in the coal mine, the barometer for economic activity. And I've been waiting and thinking to myself, one day we might see these contract, and that could be a signal. So everything appears to be lining up, I guess. Bullish sentiment through the roof. You see the headlines. Everybody's saying now all stocks are going to go up for 2020. You saw, I pointed this out, the Bank of America guy. Remember? Last year at this time, the Bank of America at the end of December 2018, they said, go short the S&P. That is the trade for 2019. And what happened? We had one of the biggest market advances ever this year. And this year, about a week ago, Bank of America analysts said, just keep buying stocks for 2020. So I mean, if you want a contrarian indicator, that looks pretty good. Anyway, folks, remember, it's all about MMT. I'm the only one who has an applied approach to MMT. Go to my website today. Take advantage. A lot of people have been taking advantage of the $250 rate and locking it in. Go there now, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. Make your 2020 resolution now to scale yourself up personally. What does that mean? Knowledge, education, understanding, the right things to look at, the right data, and mental game. We're all in this together. We have a great group here. Be part of the group. Come on board. All right, everybody. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, have a happy, healthy new year. Bye-bye.